From translation, KJV King James Version, this 125th day of the year, today we are reading passages 1 Chronicles 12-14, 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verses 1 to 42. Now these are they that came to David to Ziklag, while he kept himself close because of Saul the son of Kish. And they were among the mighty men, helpers of the war. They were armed with bows, and could use both the right hand and the left in hurling stones and shooting arrows out of a bow, even of Saul's brethren of Benjamin. The chief was Ahiezer, then Joash, both the sons of Shemar the Gibbethite, and Jeziel and Pelet, the sons of Asmaveth, and Baracha and Jehu Anathothite, and Ishmaiah the Gibeonite, a mighty man among the 30 and over the 30, and Jeremiah and Jahaziel and Johanan and Jozabad the Gederathite, Eluzai and Jeremoth and Beliah and Shemariah and Shephatiah the Horophite, Elkanah and Jesiah and Azareel and Josah and Jashubam the Korhites, and Jola and Zebediah, the sons of Jeroham of Gedor. Some of the Gadites' defection to David into the wilderness men of might, and men of war fit for the battle, that could handle shield and buckler, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and were as swift as the roes upon the mountains. Ezra the first, Obadiah the second, Eliab the third, Mishmannah the fourth, Jeremiah the fifth, Attai the sixth, Eliel the seventh, Johanan the eighth, Elzabad the ninth, Jeremiah the 10th, Machbenai the 11th. These were of the sons of Gad, captains of the host. One of the least was over 100, and the greatest over 1,000. These are they that went over Jordan in the first month, when it had overflown all his banks, and they put to flight all them of the valleys, both toward the east and toward the west. And there came of the children of Benjamin and Judah to the hold unto David. And David went out to meet them, and answered and said unto them, If ye be come peaceably unto me to help me, mine heart shall be knit unto you. But if ye be come to betray me to mine enemies, seeing there is no wrong in mine hands, the God of our fathers look thereon, and rebuke it. Then the Spirit came upon Amasai, who was chief of captains, and he said, Thine are we, David, and on thy side, O thou son of Jesse. Peace, peace be unto thee, and peace be to thine helpers, for thy God helpeth thee. Then David received them, and made them captains of the band. And there fell some of Manasseh to David, when he came with the Philistines against Saul to battle, but they helped them not. For the lords of the Philistines upon advisement sent him away, saying, He will fall to his master Saul to jeopardy of our heads. As he went to Ziklag, there fell to him of Manasseh, Adnah and Jozabad, and Jediel, and Michael, and Jozabad, and Elihu, and Ziltai, chiefs of the thousands that were of Manasseh. And they helped David against the band of the rovers, for they were all mighty men of valor, and were captains in the host. For at that time day by day there came to David to help him, until it was a great host, like the host of God. And this is the number of the mighty men which David had, Jashobam and Hachmonite the chief of the captains. He lifted up his spear against 300 slain by him at one time. And the children of Judah, bearing shield and spear, were 6,800, armed for war. Of the children of Simeon, mighty men of valor for the war, 7,100. Of the children of Levi 4,600. And Jehidah was the chief of the Aaronites, and Zadok was a valiant man of the sons of Eleazar, and he was chief over them that had the charge of the house of God. And David appointed certain of the Levites to be ministers before the ark of the Lord, and to record, and to thank and praise the Lord God of Israel. Asaph the chief, and Zechariah the second next, then Jehoram, and Shemaremiah, and Jehiel, and Mattithiah, and Eliab, and Benaiah, and Obededom. And Jael with psalteries and with harps, but Asaph made a sound with cymbals. And Zechariah, and Aziel, and Shemaremiah, and Jehiel, and Unni, Eliab, and Marciah, and Benaiah, with psalteries on Alamoth. And Mattithiah, and Eliphehu, and Mikneiah, and Obededom, and Jael, and Azaziah, with harps on the Sheminith to excel. And Chenaniah, chief of the Levites for song, he instructed about the song because he was skillful. And Benaiah and Jahaziel, the priests with trumpets, continually before the ark of the covenant of God. And the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do. The heads of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their commandment. And the children of Zebulun, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, with all instruments of war, to help with alacrity unto the battle, and they were not of double heart, they were under the command of their captains. And the children of Naphtali, 1,000 captains, and with them with shield and spear 30 and 7,000. Of the Danites, expert in war, 20 and 8,600, appointed to keep ward. And of the children of Asher, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, 40,000. And on the other side of Jordan, of the Reubenites and the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, with all manner of instruments of war for the battle, 120,000. All these men of war that could keep rank, came with a perfect heart to Hebron, to make David king over all Israel, And all the rest also of Israel were of one heart to make David king. And there they were with David 3 days, eating and drinking, for their brethren had made preparation for them. And there were about them that were little ones, and their wives, and their sons, and their daughters, and all the household of David brought them on their way. 1 Chronicles chapter 13, verses 1 to 14. And David consulted with the captains of thousands and hundreds, and with every leader. And David said unto all the congregation of Israel, If it seem good unto you, and that it be of the Lord our God, let us send abroad unto our brethren everywhere, that are left in all the land of Israel, and with them also to the priests and Levites which are in their cities and suburbs, that they may gather themselves unto us. And let us bring again the ark of our God to us, for we inquired not at it in the days of Saul. And all the congregation said that they would do so, for the thing was right in the eyes of all the people. So David gathered all Israel together, from Shihor of Egypt even unto the entering of Hemath, to bring the ark of God from Kirjathjearim. And David went up, and all Israel, to Baalah, that is, to Kirjathjearim, which belonged to Judah, to bring up thence the ark of God the Lord that dwelleth between the cherubims, whose name is called on it. And they carried the ark of God in a new cart out of the house of Abinadab, and Uzzah and Ahio drave the cart. And David and all Israel played before God with all their might, and with singing, and with harps, and with psalteries, and with timbrels, and with cymbals, and with trumpets. And when they came unto the threshing floor of Chidon, Uzzah put forth his hand to hold the ark, for the oxen stumbled. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and he smote him, because he put his hand to the ark, and there he died before God. And David was displeased, because the Lord had made a breach upon Uzzah. And he called the name of the place Perez-Uzzah to this day. And David was afraid of God that day, saying, How shall I bring the ark of God home to me? So David brought not the ark home to himself to the city of David, but carried it aside into the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. And the ark of God remained with the family of Obed-Edom in his house 3 months. And the Lord blessed the house of Obed-Edom, and all that he had. 1 Chronicles chapter 14, verses 1 to 17. Now Hiram king of Tyre sent messengers to David, and cedar trees and masons and carpenters, to build him an house. And David perceived that the Lord had confirmed him king over Israel, for his kingdom was lifted up on high, because of his people Israel. And David took him more wives at Jerusalem, and David begat more sons and daughters. Now these are the names of his children which he had in Jerusalem: Shammua, and Shobab, and Nathan, and Solomon, and Ibhar, and Elishua, and Elpalet, and Nogah, and Nepheg, and Japhia, and Elishama, and Beliada, and Eliphalet. And when the Philistines heard that David was anointed king over all Israel, all the Philistines went up to seek David. And David heard of it, and went out against them. And the Philistines came and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of God, saying, Shall I go up against the Philistines? And wilt thou deliver them into mine hand? And the Lord said unto him, Go up. For I will deliver them into thine hand. So they came up to Baal-perazim, and David smote them there. Then David said, God hath broken in upon mine enemies by mine hand like the breaking forth of waters. Therefore they called the name of that place Baal-perazim. And they left their images there, and David and his men took them away. And the Philistines yet again spread themselves abroad in the valley. Therefore David inquired again of God, and God said unto him, Go not up after them. Turn away from them, and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. And it shall be, when thou shalt hear a sound of going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt go out to battle. For God is gone forth before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. David therefore did as God commanded him, and they smote the host of the Philistines from Gibon even to Gaza. And the fame of David went out into all lands, and the Lord brought the fear of him upon all nations.